Red Sox are doing so bad, they're going to sell the team. Ohtani, he's about to break another record, going for history. We got a guy sleeping in too long. We got a team leader screaming at his first baseman on the field. Mets fans, they want to get rid of their best player. Story of the year still so far is the ump show. Orioles are winning 8-3 in the ninth, 1-2 count. It's called the ball. Orioles challenge. It's overturned, and for the first time ever, a challenge call ends the game. So Stevie Buckner, during his first game, he called Eugenio Suarez out on called strike. Got reversed. Calls him out on the very next pitch. That also gets reversed. So he gets 6 calls overturned. Then he calls Trevor Story out on a check swing with a tying run on second. Red Sox lose their mind. He has to eject Alex Cora. A few days later, Brewers batter hits a ground ball to second. Throw goes to first. The ball is nowhere close. Stevie Buckner, the first base umpire at the time, calls him out and says the runner never touched first base. Stevie's not even looking at first base. He's looking at the ball. Turns out he definitely touched the bag. This call was overturned. Then he gets hit with a foul ball and has to leave the game. He's not the only umpire having a tough year. So Alfonso Marquez, he misses a call so badly, he's like visibly shocked. This ball was like 4 inches above the strike zone. This call got overturned. It was 1/46th of an inch out of the zone. Umps this year, 93.5% accuracy. They're having the best year of all time by accuracy. That is a 0.9% increase from last year. So come on, guys, give him a fucking break. Earlier this week, the Yankees challenged 4 calls in the first 4 innings. All 4 got overturned. Aaron Boone starts yelling at the umpire. The umpire, he takes his mask off, starts yelling back at Aaron Boone, tells him to shut up. 90 seconds later, Yankees challenge again, and he gets another call wrong. That's overturned. So it's like, what are you going to do? Speaking of the Yankees, hottest team in baseball. They have the #1 pitching staff in baseball, these Yankees. 1.81 ERA. Max Fried, 7 innings, no earned runs in game 2 against the Mariners. Cam Schlittler, 6 innings and a third, 0 earned runs, 7 Ks in games 3 against the Mariners. Combined for 25 scoreless innings to start the season. Giancarlo Stanton stole a base. And that is a guy with 2 tennis elbows, can't open chips, and is the slowest guy on earth. Steals a base first time since 2020. The guy's batting .393 with a .433 on base percentage, .571 slugging. The Yankees off to a great start, but they can't suit the Marlins. The Marlins also off to a pretty damn good start. Sandy Alcantara shuts out the White Sox, pitches a 93-pitch shutout. So he has 10 complete games since 2022. Only one team has more than that. Sandy Alcantara was his own team. He'd be the second best pitcher when it comes to complete games with 10 since 2022. So after he pitches a shutout, he gives a on-the-field interview and says, quote, "Fans were not here, but we still love them." And he was right. There was no fans there. 6,000 fans got to witness a 93-pitch shutout. Ever heard of Liam Hicks?
Not until like 5 days ago.
Casual. Leads the league in RBI, slugging, and OPS. 5th best offense in baseball this year by runs scored. Marlins, and they are top of the NL East. Mets are already falling apart, despite their record being pretty good. Cisco Lindor, their star player, loses track of outs during the first inning. He gets an easy double play ball, just touches second, doesn't throw the first because he thinks it's 3 outs. Then he later gets picked off at first base. Juan Soto hits a home run that same at bat, so that cost them a run. Mets fans were not happy about that. Craig Carton says he's everything that's wrong with sports today. He has to go. He's no good anymore. He's the 9th best player by WAR last season, Francisco Lindor. Since getting the Mets 4th best player in baseball by WAR. Evan Roberts said Mendoza missed his chance to bench Lindor because of these 2 mistakes. Buster Olney was asked about his relationship with Soto because now there's rumblings that him and Soto hate each other's fucking guts. And apparently Soto's locker got moved farther away than Lindor's. Last year they were right next to each other. This year they're on opposite sides of the clubhouse. Jose Reyes comes out, has to defend Lindor after 2 bad plays. Relax, everybody. Lindor's going to be good. Lindor this season is struggling. 5 for 37, batting .135, and the Mets lose 2 out of 3 to the Cardinals. So Mason Wynn hit a walk-off and then got in a car crash. Damn, first they're sour, then they're sweet. Well, opposite. First they're sweet, then they're sour for Mason Wynn. He came across some wet pavement. So when the Mets lose a series to the Cardinals in April, the Mets fans, I mean, come on, season's over. Then they play the Giants. End up taking 3 out of 4 against the Giants. So they scored 24 runs in 3 games against the Giants. Mark Vientos and Francisco Alvarez both have OPSs over 1,000. Kodai Senga, 3 miles per hour on his fastball this year. They are 6-4 and are tied for 2nd. The Nats turned 21 this weekend. So they had a 21-year-old chick. So instead of a first pitch, they had a first sip. They get a first sip, then they give up 31 runs in 3 games to the death.
Damn.
They did beat the Phillies 13-2 in the first game of the series. Phillies fans, in their 4th game of the season, they had already gotten booed 4 times. Kyle Schwarber's out there taking grounders. When Kyle Schwarber has to play first, you know it's bad. But since getting blown out 13-2 to the Nats, they're 4-1. I will say, despite facing the Nats and the Rockies, they are 19th in offense, and that is not Phillies caliber. Not a single player with an OPS over 900. The Braves beat the Athletics. Chris Sale allowed 1 base runner in his last start. His fastball velocity was down though, 1.7 miles per hour. Like, what's going on with Chris Sale? Walt Weiss comes out, says that Chris Sale was, quote, sick as a dog, couldn't keep anything down. He was a mess, throwing up before the game. Still pitches a 6-inning shutout. Sorry, gave up 1 hit. It was a solo home run. Scored 17 runs in a game. The 5th in the league in runs. We're tied with the Marlins right now. Number 1 pitching staff in baseball by ERA have a 1.82 ERA as a team. Max Scherzer's first start of the year was amazing. This guy, 37 minutes before first pitch, he's looking like a fucking psycho in the dugout. He's waiting to run on the field like a lunatic. Scherzer is 41 now. Missed about half the season last year with a thumb injury, thumb inflammation. According to Scherzer, the only cure for this thumb inflammation is piano. Blue Jays pitching coach says Scherzer has become Chopin. He had a terrible start to the season last year, made 1 start, and had to miss 3 months. There's no surgery available for this thumb. He told Chris Bassett last year in June, if this bullpen session does not go well, I'm retiring. I guess it goes well enough. He returns in July. In August, he asked the front desk if he could unlock the hotel piano so he could play Dr. Dre and Eminem songs, and that was, quote, the turning point. Says if he stops playing piano, his thumb will 100% start to hurt again. So he's basically a slave to the piano, and he has to bring a portable piano to every city he goes to. And it's worked out. First start of the season, goes 6th inning, gives up 1 run and beats the Rockies. So only win in this little streak they got because with the Max Scherzer piano start. And it's looking bad for the Blue Jays. George Springer, 75 WRC plus. Alejandro Kirk, 66 WRC plus. Now he's injured. Dalton Varsho, 28 WRC plus. Addison Barger, -9 WRC plus. And Nathan Lucas, -10 WRC plus. Yeah, there is trouble in Boston. They got swept by the Astros and they lose 2 out of 3 to the Padres. Worst team in baseball when it comes to record. Yeah, Sonny Gray, Ranger Suarez, and Oviedo have a combined ERA of 6.95. That's their 3 big pitching acquisitions. Wilson Contreras and Caleb Durbin have combined for 7 for 59. That is a 119 average. Kirk Crochet says the start for the Red Sox, embarrassing. Trevor Story has a 119 batting average, hasn't taken a walk yet. Carlos Narvaez got benched, and still people have no idea why. After having a 444 average. So in their final game against the Padres, fans start chanting, sell the team, the Red Sox.
They traded James Tibbs III for Dustin May. It's like a 2,000 OPS. May had like a 7 ERA and is not even on the Red Sox anymore.
Little early to sell the team. You don't want to sell the team in April. No, wait till May, then you sell the team. But the Orioles are also not doing that great. They just got swept by the Pirates. Zach Eflin, that's a big loss for the Orioles. And Chris Bassett, who 2 starts, has a 14.21 ERA. Got hit in the foot with 112 miles per hour. Slow start for Pete Alonso as well. The good news for the Orioles, they got Trevor Rogers, who's been one of the best pitchers in baseball since the All-Star break last year. And then Adley Rutschman seems to be a better hitter again. 182 OPS plus, 3-6. They're behind Jack's Rays. They just beat the Twins in a series.
But Chandler Simpson is a guy who might be the only major leaguer can barely hit the ball over the wall in batting practice. He's having a great start.
He has a 432 on-base percentage. He only has 2 steals.
But he should have 10 steals at this point with that on-base percentage.
And then you got Yandy Diaz going off. Nick Fortes, 177 WRC plus. Richie Palacio, 170 WRC plus.
That's without Caminero. He just hit his first homer yesterday.
Arguably the best defensive performance in MLB history, the best defensive game ever. But before we get to that, a quick word from today's podcast sponsor. This video is brought to you by GLD. Everybody has their go-to pieces. Everyone has the shoes that go with everything, that pair of jeans that fit just right, that t-shirt that looks good no matter what you pair it with. You don't overthink it. You just grab it, you put it on, and it works every time. But most guys are missing one thing from that lineup, and that's jewelry. That's where GLD comes in, all right? They make the kind of pieces that become a part of your routine, not just something you say for special occasions or once in a while. Just clean, quality pieces that instantly make your fit look fresh. Once you add a GLD chain to your rotation, you will never go back. This is not cheap stuff, okay? GLD only uses real gold. Every stone is hand set, and their production process is on a completely another level. You can see it. You can really feel it when you have it in your hand. As you can see, I've been rocking it all episode, and I'm sure you noticed because it looks that good, all right? You've got everything. Chains, pendants, bracelets, even a nice selection of watches. Whether you keep it simple or like a little shine, they got you covered. And it's not just hype. They have over 2 million customers and 50,000 5-star reviews. Justin Bieber, Malik Neighbors, Micah Parsons, ASAP Rocky, and plenty more big dogs have been wearing this. And for a limited time, new customers are getting an insane deal. If you use code PDE, you get 40% off at GLD.com. That is 40% off. Just use code PDE at GLD.com. After you purchase, they will ask you where you heard them. And please tell them PDE. Support the show, look fresh, and go to GLD.com right now. Second worst outfielder in baseball in 2025 by defensive runs saved. Tied for the worst outfielder in baseball in 2025. Joe Adell, historically terrible outfielder, hits off his glove 15 feet over the wall in 2020. I saw another clip of him getting in the way of Mike Trout and just getting hit by a ball without even seeing the ball. Statistically speaking, bad at outfield, but since 2020, 10 home run robberies. So he's good at one thing, and that's robbing home runs. Last year, the most robberies by a player was 4. This fucker just did 3 in one game. So the Angels hit a leadoff home run, Zach Neto. Cal Raleigh comes back in the 4th, hits one to right.
Back near the wall, he leaps.
Joe Adell robs it. They keep the Mariners scoreless 8 innings. Mariners come up in the 8th. Josh Naylor, power hitter, drives one to right.
Adell is back. He's at the wall. He leaps up. He got another one.
Joe Adell robs another home run. Then in the 9th, it's still 1-0. 1-0 ball game. J.P. Crawford crushes one to right.
J.P. Crawford and Adell. There's no way. There's no way. Joe Adell is having the night of his life.
There have been over 70,000 MLB games played in the wild card era. There's not been 3 robberies by 2 teams combined in one game, but Joe Adell did it by himself in one game. The Angels had a nice little series there. They won 2 out of 3 against the Mariners. What's going on with Cal Raleigh? He's batting 132 with a 417 OPS, leads the league in strikeouts. He has struck out more than 50% of his at-bats this season. But Josh Naylor, even worse, 125 with a 330 OPS. Right now, the Mariners are sitting in 4th place, 4-6. Could be worse. One of the most insane things happening in baseball right now is the rookies are unstoppable. Rookies as a whole have a 126 WRC plus. They're batting 26 better than the average player. Both players of the week at the first week of the season were rookies. There's 22 position players as rookies this year. 7 of them have OPSs above 900. 1/3 of the rookies have an OPS over 900. Connor Griffin, who is the #1 prospect in baseball, just got called up. He hit 438 in 5 games in AAA, and they said, that's enough, brother. You're coming to the show. This guy was 13 years old when COVID happened. So he comes up in his first game, smacks one first at bat, RBI double. Connor Griffin, he has arrived. And the Pirates sweep the Orioles. The Pirates, man, 5-1 over the last 6. The Pirates now have the best odds to win that division right now.
What?
O'Neal Cruz. Polarizing start to the season for O'Neal Cruz. Misreads a ball in the first inning in center field. Reads 2 balls in the first inning in center field. Costs the team 3 runs, then strikes out and throws his bat into the dugout, then gets a walk turned into a strikeout. That's all in his first game. Gets benched the second game of the season. So everyone's like, O'Neal Cruz, let's DFA this guy. Actually, no. The next series against the Reds, 5 for 9, 3 home runs, 6 RBIs, scores 5 runs. So he drives in 6, scores 5, accounts for 8 of the Pirates' 16 runs. Basically wins them the series against the Reds. The Reds are nothing to shake a stick at either. They lose that series to the Pirates, but then they sweep the Rangers. They have the 2nd worst offense in baseball, yet are 6-3. The starting staff is nasty, though. Chase Burns strikes out 9, gives up 1 against the Rangers. 13.09 Ks per 9 and a .82 ERA through 2 starts. And then Rhett Lauder, through his first 8 starts, he has the lowest ERA of any Reds starter in history. Then you got Andrew Abbott, Cy Young candidate. Thank you. My opinion, and Brady Singer. But the Brewers, tied with the best record in baseball, have worse odds to win the division than the Pirates. They got a baby tortoise. During an interview on Apple TV, Pat Murphy pulls a turtle out of his pocket and hands it to the reporter. Don't let Peter see it. There is a baby turtle in the manager's pocket. So basically, they pay the Royals visiting clubhouse manager $500 to buy them a turtle. The clubhouse manager goes to the turtle store, buys a turtle.
He asked the clubhouse attendant to get him a turtle, and the clubhouse attendant went to the turtle store and got him a tortoise.
Isn't that shit gonna get big as hell?
That's what's going to happen. They thought they were getting a turtle. Guy goes and gets a tortoise. The tortoise is projected to grow to 170 pounds within the next 55 to 80 years. Brewers could have a tortoise in that clubhouse for the next 80 years. We'll all be dead, and that tortoise will be 170 pounds, and it will have a couple World Series rings, and it will be the biggest tortoise in baseball history. Garrett Mitchell said after the win that Bobby Jr., the tortoise, was the MVP. The Brewers have scored the second most runs in baseball. Jacob Mizorowski leads the league in strikeouts. Bryce Terang, William Contreras, Garrett Mitchell, and Christian Yelich all have OPSs over 900. So the Royals beat the Twins. And the biggest story out of the Royals camp is Carter Jansen, who was supposed to start at catcher. They don't know where he is. The Royals think their catcher died. They're calling his parents, where the hell is Carter Jansen? Guy sleeps in and gets benched for sleeping in. Not a good look for Carter Jansen. The Royals, they are 4-5. But Bobby Witt has started slow. It does hurt when Bobby Witt is starting slow. He's basically been their offense. Vinny Pasquantino also struggling. They're kind of just playing a little mid-ball. AL Central baseball for the AL Central, except for the White Sox. I mean, the White Sox just swept the defending AL champions. Munetaka Murakami, through his first 9 games, 4 home runs and a 157 WRC+. Forget, he also got the team a bunch of bidets.
They decided he started on the 3rd, pitched 1 inning. He started on the 4th, pitched 1 inning. Got a day off yesterday, and then today he's starting again. So I think right now they're just like, hey, Grant Taylor, can you throw a ball today? And he goes, yeah. And they go, you're starting.
They're 21st in runs, 29th in starters ERA, 28th in relievers ERA, and 26th in defense. So they suck at everything, but they still sweep the Blue Jays. And the Guardians, 6-4 at the top of this division. They just beat the Dodgers in a series and beat the Cubs in back-to-back series. And their playoff odds have already gone from 13% to 27%. They have 2 players who are above league average hitters. Their whole offense is chased to louder. But yeah, the offense is looking like shit. Here they are, 6-4, 2 series wins against 2 of the best teams in baseball. So the Cubs were on their way to history. We're about to throw a no-hitter, and Michael Conforto fucks it up, takes a bad route, goes over his head. No-hitter is ruined. They do lose the series to the Guardians. But are you worried about PCA? 60 WRC+.
Hitting-wise, it's been really ugly since he hit 25 home runs in the first half.
So only 6 home runs since, hitting 25 in the first half. Speaking of Blue Stars, the Dodgers. Shohei's first start, 6 innings pitched, only 1 hit allowed, 3 walks and 1 hit by pitch, so a little wild for Shohei. So Shohei has not given up a run in 22 2/3 innings, has an on-base streak of 40 games. So he has the longest on-base streak in baseball and the longest scoreless inning streak in baseball at the same damn time. Hits 2 home runs against the Nats. Dodgers score 31 runs in 3 games. However, there are a couple things that the Dodgers fans can be concerned about. Mookie Betts is hurt. He will miss 4 to 6 weeks with a strained oblique. And then you got Roki Sasaki. He goes 5 innings, allows 6 runs and 2 homers, walks 3 batters against the Nationals. ERA is up to a 7. He was unhittable in the playoffs out of the pen. Right now, it seems like a lot of it is mental.
He has the fuck you stuff without the fuck you energy.
Yeah, and he does, and he walks everybody. The Giants' early on struggles continue. They lose a series to the Mets. Matt Chapman, first inning, throws the ball to first baseman can't make the play. Then in the 5th inning, another misplay at first base, which is like a play that he could have caught. Then they come in and do a mound meeting, and then Matt Chapman just gets in his ass, catch the fucking ball right in his mouth. Then their manager quotes Kanye and Tiger Woods in the same week. Tony Vitello was ejected for the first time, bringing some fire, trying to wake up the boys. 29th in runs for the Giants, 2nd worst offense in baseball. They've lost 4 of their last 5 and are going to a series against the Phillies. So they're worse than the Rockies. You're worse than the Rockies, holy.
Justin Verlander was set to make his first start. 2 days before his start, they put him on the IL. Detroit is going to have to wait.
Got swept by the Diamondbacks. I will say, Framber Valdez, though, he's been great signing for them so far. 0.75 ERA in his 2 starts. Skubal, obviously, 0.69 ERA. Casey Mize, that makes you question, if all these pitchers are doing so good, why the fuck are the Tigers sitting there with a losing record?
No offense.
Torkelson was a big underrated reason why the Tigers were good last year. Low start for him, 0 home runs. He's going to need to hit home runs to be good.
It is so weird to hear Jose Fernandez in the headlines.
22 years old, first game of his career, 2 home runs, and hits the game-winning home run for him.
They were I think they had the worst bullpen ERA last year, and they really didn't add to it. Friday night, tie game, they bring in Paul Sewald. Just gives up 2 rockets.
Yeah, they shut down the Braves for 8 innings, bring in the closer, back-to-back home runs. You lose 2-0. Right now, their bullpen, 29th in ERA. Nolan Arenado, that was their big free agent signing. He's got a negative .3 WAR. Perdomo, he's got a negative WAR so far this season. Tel Marte's not hitting. Carlos Santana, another free agent signing for them, negative 19 OPS plus. Eduardo Rodriguez, though, still hasn't given up a run this year. And then the Padres, last but not least, the Padres. They're 4-5. They beat the Red Sox 2 out of 3. They won 3 of the last 4 games, Mitch. They're back.
And Mason Miller, 53 strikeouts since August 6th, nearly 60% strikeout rate.
Something that's not good for the Padres, the starters that they added this offseason, Nick Pivetta, Walker Buehler, and Jermaine Marquez. The lowest ERA out of all 3 is a 6.75.
I think that's it.
That's it. That's all I got on my end. We'll see you next week, Mudda.